Welcome to TISE TV Season 3. The episode will begin in just a moment. Remember to hit the share button and host a watch party. Representatives will be available to answer any of your questions in the comments below. Like and follow the International Surface event on your favorite social media platforms to get updates on future episodes. Well, without further delay, let's get the show started.
TISE TV Season 3 is brought to you by the World Floor Covering Association, the floor covering industry's largest advocacy organization, representing specialty floor covering retailers, manufacturers, and distributors. Visit them today at www.wfca.org. Also brought to you by Premier Flooring Retailer Magazine, the only publication dedicated exclusively to the success of the specialty retailer and their supplier partners. Visit them today at www.pfrmag.net. As well as Fabulous Floors Magazine, connecting the flooring industry to consumers. Visit them today at www.fabulousfloorsmagazine.com.
Now let's get the show started.
Welcome to TISE TV. I'm Hillary Lane. So excited to be with you, and I have a very special treat to show you. Hello and welcome to TISE TV. I'm Hillary Lane. So excited to be with you, and I have a very special treat to show you. We are here at the Ventique booth where they have absolutely beautiful floor vent covering.
That's correct.
I'm joined now by Nick. You are going to want to see how beautiful these products are, and really unique too. Nick, tell us a little bit about it.
They are. So what's unique about our products is it's kind of a two-step design for floor vents. You have your frame design, and then you have your grill inserts. So it's an option as far as customers go. If they don't like the grill insert themselves that they have, they can certainly switch those out, change styles, change colors, everything like that. And what makes them unique is that they're going to be flush mount for all your flooring. So whether it's tile, laminate, hardwood, LVP, you're going to get that flush look, unlike all your old style vents where they're raised above the floor. So.
Amazing. So tell us, is it more for aesthetic reasons or functional? Is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. You get your classic look as far as the styles go, but then you're going to get some of your other styles that you kind of see here. It just gives designers and architects a different look and a different feel as well. Don, the owner, came up with the idea. He's a tile installer by trade. When installing tile floors, there was nothing as far as flush mount. Everything was raised above the floor like normal. So
they're so unique. Would you say they're more functional or more for aesthetic purposes?
Actually both. They kind of cover both options as far as even for designers, architects. The different inserts that we have are going to please most homeowners and designers, but then they're also going to be flush mount for all your flooring, for tile, laminates. You're not going to have that raised edge.
So double function.
Double functional.
Useful and beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I think the most unique part is when you walk into a beautiful home and it's decorated stunningly, you notice the vents.
You
do.
And
I never really thought that there was anything you could do about it. I'm amazed to see that there is.
Absolutely. So that's the one thing. With the kind of styles we have, whether it's contemporary or just your basic, styles, you're gonna notice the vents right away. They're not just gonna be the old style and blend into your floors and nobody sees them. So they're really pleasing to the eye.
I can't wait for you guys to check them out for yourself. Really beautiful. It's not often that you see a product and you're like, wow, that's really innovative and different. So make sure to check them out if you're here in Vegas or joining us online. The website, ventiques.com, VENTIQUES. And you're there to answer any questions anyone might have?
They can call us, check out our website, check us out on Facebook and Instagram as well, and we can set you guys up.
Amazing. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this one.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
No design project is ever decided by one person. Which is why shareable contact information is so important. Join inCrowd digital business cards makes it easy for your clients to share your contact info and send you referrals. Create your free card today. Upgrade for only $1 a month. You work hard. Make it easy for your clients to send you more business. Join inCrowd today.
Hello and welcome to TISE TV. I'm Hillary Lane. We are here at the Best Cheers Stone booth. I'm joined now by Erica to tell me a little bit about your new products. They're beautiful, first of all.
Thank you. Well, this is one of our most popular quartz. It's Calicut Rocky. It comes in slabs and prefabs, and it sells out in about 2 months when we receive it.
Wow.
So that's hundreds of pieces gone within 2 months.
What do you think, besides the obvious that it's gorgeous, but what specifically makes it so popular?
It is a very clean white background with a smoky light gray veining going through it. Very popular right now, very modern.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what else do you have to show us?
We also have our Grigio Fantasy. It's a soft quartzite, and it is okay for kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, walls, everything. So right now, a lot of people are into that marble, that sparkle. This will do just that, and it's going to be less maintenance, easy to clean. Just need to know how to treat a marble in order to take care of it.
That's so stunning. You really can appreciate the beauty of these products when you're here and see them in person. So if you are in Las Vegas, come by the show and check out the booth here at Best Cheers Stone. If not, if you're watching us virtually, there are plenty of opportunities to see the products as well. Where is the best place for people to see you? Website?
Actually, I would like everyone to visit our showroom in Anaheim because you're going to get a really good feel of how we are and how we operate. And you'll see a lot more better products and nicer products to install in your home.
All right, that's an open invitation for all of you, correct?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to want to check them out.
Featuring BB Industries. Better service. Better value. To learn more, visit them at www.bbindustriesllc.com. That's www.bbindustriesllc.com.
Hello and welcome to TISE TV. I'm Hillary Lane. We're now at the beautiful BB Industries booth, and it is packed here. People are really excited to see the products. I'm here with President and CEO Rick. Rick, how's the show going so far?
Well, actually, you can see it's been fantastic. So I think we're very optimistic about the travel or the amount of people here this week, and so we're excited. We have a theme this year of reimagine how we can change the industry and how we can push our sales and service and our 30-day guarantee, and I think it's showing that it's working. So I think we're a little more impressed with how many people are here than we assumed, and we're trying to take full advantage of getting their information, what we can do to help them so we can become a better company.
Amazing, and we have a few products that we're going to see, so let's go take a look.
Wonderful.
And now I'm joined by Jerry. He's going to tell us about the three-setter and the dressing machine, right?
Yes. So we have our pre-setter here. It's priced very, very well for the 1 to 3 CNC shops. What sets this tool apart is convenience, speed, and accuracy to run tools at a high rate of speed. And it gets our downtime on the machines down from a 2-hour to about a 15 minutes.
And what about this other machine here?
So this dressing machine is, when you start buying these tools, it's all expensive. So we might as well maintain them and get the best life out of these tools as we can to maximize the customer's money.
All right, wonderful. Thanks so much. Now I'm here with Andrew, who's going to tell us a little bit about the Viper Vibora. Did I say that right?
You did. Great. The blade is called the Viper Vibora, and the interesting thing about the name is that it's actually Spanish for viper. So it sounds like it's a double use of the word, but it's in connection to many shops that we visited all over the country. A lot of the fabricators honestly speak the Spanish language, and we wanted to connect with them and have that relationship and partnership with them. So naming it the Vibora, it was something that they can see, they can identify with, and obviously it's a viper on the picture here. The artwork stands out, and they can kind of relate to that and know what's going on.
And can be part of something proud.
Exactly, part of something proud, something of their language, their culture, and something that they can connect with. Not just at work, but also knowing that BB Industries is there for them.
Amazing. There are so many things to see at the BB Industries booth. If you're here in Vegas, come on down. You will not regret it. Or if not, you could visit them at bbindustriesllc.com.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
No design project is ever decided by one person, which is why shareable contact information is so important. Join inCrowd Digital Business Cards makes it easy for your clients to share your contact info and send you referrals. Create your free card today. Upgrade for only $1 a month. You work hard. Make it easy for your clients to send you more business. Join inCrowd today.
That'll help. All right. How's everybody doing? Good. All right. All right. Who won big last night? Where's my big win? Right here. Okay. All right.
He's buying drinks for everybody after
Yeah,
this.
that's what we were wondering.
Water on me.
All right. Well, we're really glad you guys are here. I remember some of you from our session earlier, and I'm glad that you came back. My name's Rob Roderick, and I'm with the National Tile Contractors Association. If you're not aware of the NTCA, we've been around for 75 years. We're celebrating 75 years this year. We're a nonprofit organization, and I'm a trader for them. I've been in the industry for about 30 years. I'm from Springfield, Missouri.
My name is Matt Welder. I've been in the industry for a little over 20 years and just new to being a trader with the NTCA. So happy to be here.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today is we basically did a talk downstairs about a particular job in California and some of the design features and how the installation was done. It was called Calibu Vineyards. It's actually in process right now. So we got some of the tiles that were used there. And we're going to start off by talking about this plank tile that we got. And they used it in a herringbone on the 45 on the floor. And that can be kind of a complicated layout. We always teach towards industry standards and guidelines and best practices, and that's information you find in the TISEtv handbook and in ANSI. You can get information on a lot of different places now, on Google, YouTube, Facebook. We want to make sure we get it from the right place, and so we always go there for information. So everything we're going to teach you today is in there. And when it comes to layout, what it basically says is our layouts need to be centered and balanced when possible. It's not always possible, but when we can do it, we need to do it. It also talks about focal points and other things. It goes into quite a bit of detail. So whenever we're doing our layout, we want that balanced look, but it also has a part to it that says centered and balanced with no cuts less than half tile when possible. So whenever we're doing a pattern or we're doing a layout, we always have two options of how to center it. If you guys straight lay tile, how would you center it? You could center it either in the middle of the tile, right? Or you can center it on a grout joint. We'll kind of show that. First off, we need to center the floor that we're going to do. So let's measure this. We've got a 36, so we need 18 inches marked. We're going to get a line. And whenever we get that first line, that control line, it's always good to go off an exterior wall if we've got one, or the longest wall in the installation. Using that exterior wall, oftentimes the framers start from the outside and work their way in, and it'll make our layout a lot more square. So we're going to find the center of our area we're getting ready to tile. So this is 60 inches, so we're going to measure 30 inches. Now, one of the things that we teach in some of our workshops, we do workshops all over the country, is how to square using 3, 4, 5, or 6, 8, 10, using multiples of those numbers, 3, 4, 5, to get a 90-degree angle. And we want that so we can check the walls and make sure that the walls are square with each other, make sure they're running parallel. We want to know that ahead of time, because once we start tiling, we want to know if there's a problem wall, and we can shift our layout in order to help hide that. We can also just use a small area like this, a framing square, and just slide a straight edge up like we see Matt do it here. Lots of guys use lasers, and lasers are great, but lasers, they need batteries. Sometimes they can get out of calibration if you ever drop one down the stairs, a set of staircases. So, being able to do 3, 4, 5 and have other ways to square stuff is great. Now, we're going to do this herringbone on a 45, which are 2 different ways to lay it out. Both are going to be centered and balanced. So the first thing I want to do is find the center of this tile. And it's a 6-inch tile. So I'm just going to mark 3 inches, and I always go mark both ways to get the exact center, because it's not actually, it's almost 6 inches. I'm going to go between these 2 marks. And then I'm going to find the center this way. And we've got 23 and a half, so I'm just going to go 3/4. So right between these 2 marks, and this again. Actually, wipe that off. I want to do it one more time so everybody can see it. Have you got it zoomed in on there? So that's going to be our center. Let me see if we can get that clean. Is that showing up in the camera? Kind of hard to see. You good? You good? All right. So basically, you guys got it so far. We found the center of our area. We found the center of our tile. Because we're laying this herringbone on 45, I'm going to take the speed square and I'm just going to run the speed square through the center of this point that I found, okay? One way, the other way, okay? So I just have an X. I found the center of my floor. Now I can just simply take this line that I marked. Let me go ahead and mark that all the way over. Now I can use these reference lines to get this tile completely centered. I can see what my cuts are going to be this way. Again, there's 2 different ways that we can do this. I'll show you the other way as soon as we get through this. So what's our cut look like over there? So this is our cut size. We'll have the same exact thing on this edge. So it should be, yeah, we got that there. All right, so did everybody follow that? Basically just found the center of this, found the center of the tile, made an X. These are mirror images and opposites of each other. You got it? Everybody follow me, read, shake your head? All right, that's one way to do it. Now another way that we can do it, in the same way that if we were straight laying this, we would straight lay in the middle of the tile or in the middle of the grout joint. Now we're going to go in the grout joint on the end of the tile. So what I want to do here is just find the center. Again, it's a 6-inch tile. So I'm going to mark 3 inches. Now I'm going to take my speed square. All right, everybody see that? On the center, just took a speed square. Easy enough. Now I've got my 2 lines, my square lines. I'm just going to set my tile on these lines that I have on the floor. Now we're going to see what it's going to be centered and balanced, and we'll have a different size cut on this one. So which way do you guys think works better? This way? That's exactly right, this way. Remember our standard, centered and balanced, and no cuts less than half tile when possible. This way, I'm laying it out, we're going to have balanced cuts, but they're going to be a lot bigger than the other one, okay? But it could be different the next time depending on the dimensions and depending on the tile, so every time you need to check and make sure you're centered and balanced with the largest cuts possible. All right, any questions about that? That's an educated bunch. All right, we're going to move over and work on this wall a little bit. This guy, he's the best helper I've ever had. He is good. Really good. He's going to cut this whole thing in. Yeah, much better this way.
I like that one, Rob.
The only thing I didn't show you guys there is not only is it centered left to right, it's going to be centered front to back. So this, if we went ahead and cut this all out, the cuts up here are going to be identical to the cuts back here. That's the part of getting the X's, that's going to get you centered in both directions. Left to right, front and back.
So Rob, what would happen if we were to take a speed square and mark off the 45, the point of this tile right here? What would that do to our layout?
It moves over. Yeah.
So we wouldn't have equal cuts.
That's exactly right.
So this layout is going directly down the center of both of those tiles.
Exactly right, yeah. So you can take this same tile here and put the same marks. It would have been just as easy to take this tile and flip it over here. But the main thing is I've got the center mark in the area I want to set, and the center mark either in the tile or on the end of the tile at a 45-degree angle. All right, we got some wall tile here.
What do we got set here, Rob?
We've got, hand me some of those, let's look at it. Now when we have tiles like this, and this is what was used at this Calibu Vineyards that we didn't talk about this morning, and it's a really cool tile, but there's a lot of shade difference in it. So with tiles like these, we need to shuffle the tiles before we actually install them so we don't get a cluster of one color. Also, when we have different tiles and we're laying out those tiles, we have to look at the manufacturer's recommended grout joint size, but we also have some standards for grout joint. The big problem with grout is generally people like tile, but they don't like grout, so they want you to put the tiles together. Has that happened to any of you guys? Have you ever had any homeowners say, I want you to put those tiles together? It happens all the time. You see you shaking your head. Well, there's actually a standard for that, and it says we should never have a grout joint smaller than 1/16 of an inch. And it goes into more detail saying we should never have a grout joint smaller than 3 times the deviations of the tiles themselves. But this particular manufacturer recommended an 1/8 of an inch grout joint. Now, I want to show you something. We've got a board here. We got some sponge water. We might give this a little bit of a drink and use the flat side of our trowel before we start spreading. You got a sponge water over there? Yeah, I'll get that for you. Now, when we're trialing, we want to make sure to trial in one direction, but we want to have a variety of trials. Which one did you decide to go with there?
Let's start with this quarter by quarter. We're going to see if we can get the proper coverage.
Okay. So we have standards for what's required for mortar coverage depending upon the application. If it's an interior dry area, our responsibility as tile installers is to get 80% mortar coverage. If it's a wet area or an exterior, we need to do better than that. We need to get 95%. So the way that we trial and the way that we spread mortar and the tiles that we're using, all of that will play into how much mortar coverage you can get. So we've got a board that he gave this a little bit of a drink. You saw him use the flat side of his trowel. Let's get these shuffled. I could at least do that for you, yes. Mix some colors up here. So he has a flat side of his trowel and a side that has teeth. That flat side is for burning in or keying in the mortar before he starts. It's going to help that mortar get a bite before he starts spreading it. Now, what we've learned, and 30 years ago when I started spreading mortar, we just spread it like this. We really didn't know much better, but we've learned over time that the direction that we spread mortar makes a big difference. You can see he's spreading in one direction. Now what that's going to do is it's going to allow air to go through these channels and collapse these ridges and help you get better coverage. It's also important what direction. So when you have a rectangular shaped tile like this, if you were to trowel your ridges this way, the air would have to travel twice as far. You see he's troweled the short direction. So the air only has to travel 1.5 inches versus 4 or 5 inches. So he's already on it. We're going to do a mortar coverage test. The first tile that goes down, best thing you can do is take that one right back up, look at it, see what kind of mortar coverage. You can see there we got areas that didn't have good mortar coverage. We got areas that we have ridges that weren't collapsed. So we found out, hey, this trial's not going to work. We're going to have to try something else. What else you got there in your bag of tricks?
Why don't you pass me the next size up?
Okay.
To let's move from a 1/4 inch to a 3/8 drum.
All right, I think I got that over here. There it is. All right, same technique. We're going to give it a little drink, then we're going to burn in that mortar with the flat side, but he's already got it burned in. Then he's going to trowel in one direction. Now, this is an important part. After he troweled in one direction, he moved this tile perpendicular to those ridges, okay? If he would have twisted it or moved it parallel to the ridges, it wouldn't have facilitated the collapsing of the ridges and that air escaping to help him get better coverage.
That looks better, Rob.
Look at that. I think we're in the right spot. All right. So these tiles that have a shade variation, I don't know if you know that there's standards for tiles themselves. And those standards are found in ANSI A137.1. And all of the handbook methods that we have, a lot of you raised your hands that we have handbooks, there's methods in there, over 100 of them that we can use. They require the use of, and the material section, the use of tiles that meet ANSI A137.1. When we use those, we know that those tiles have been tested and we know how they're going to perform in a variety of applications. They've been tested like 12 different ways. They've been tested for size difference. One of the things they're checked out for is variations in color. So and there's different VO levels depending on which tiles that you select. So you're doing a good job there. He's good at spreading order. The best. It's making my job so easy. Does this look easy? Super. All right. What kind of questions you guys have? Question. Let me repeat that question so everyone heard it. The question was, what were you saying about grout joint minimums? And so basically what we can find in the TCNA handbook and ANSI's, it says we should never have a grout joint smaller than a 1/16 of an inch. But it goes into more detail than that. It says we should never have a grout joint smaller than 3 times the deviation of the tiles themselves. That means if I have a group of tiles and they deviate in size from each other a 1/16 of an inch, the smallest grout joint with that group of tiles, 3/16 of an inch, so 3 times the deviation of the tiles themselves. Question back here. All right, we got it. Who else has a question? Come on, guys. I know you had did you come to see the herringbone layout? All right. You think you got it? Easy enough, right? Okay.
Do you have to start center of your floor?
Say again?
Do you have to start center of the floor if you weren't, or if you only needed to be centered going one way? Could you just start up against one wall?
Great question. Great question. Do you have to be centered both directions? Well, ideally that would be best for layout to fulfill what the handbook wants and what ANSI wants. But in actuality of doing it, you would only need one of those 2 lines and use one of those 2 lines to do it. So when I put both lines on there, the X, that's centering it both front and back and left and right. If I only did one of them, I would be centering either front and back or left and right, but not the other ones.
Generally, you have 2 walls that are going to be covered by furniture or something. So
right.
You need 2 of them to look good. If you're in a square room,
yeah, that's great information. So he's talking about basically some of these applications is going to be furniture or maybe a laundry that's going to have a washer or dryer. And it actually talks about that in the handbook. It talks about focal point and how we should take that into consideration. If we're going to meet up next to some carpet, it's going to be a really obvious area. We don't want any little cuts there. Ultimately, that's the goal our layout is to make sure that we don't have any small cuts, have as big as the cuts we can have in the best places that are most visible. Great information. Great. Question? Okay, great question. Who am I and what am I doing here? My name is Ron Broderick. I'm with the National Tile Contractors Association. I've got business cards I can give you guys. If you guys aren't members of the NTCA, there's a lot of great benefits to being members, and one of them is technical support. We're there to answer your questions. We've got members all over the United States. Our booth is right over there, and it's just a great association. I was a member for many years before I got the honor of doing this for them. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. A lot of terrific benefits to being a member. Several guys over there that are members, and they can tell you about it in their first-hand experience. All right, great question. This guy's good back here. All right.
Hey Rob, why do we have two different grout colors going on over here?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad I brought you. There is two grout colors here. It's kind of a subtle difference, but we basically did a mock-up for our designer to see what kind of difference these two grout colors were to make. With a tile like this, a real contrasting grout, it's really going to show up. And it actually talks about that in the grout selection guide of the TISEtv handbook. It says if you select a complementary grout, that it's going to show any inconsistencies in the tiles, and it can show inconsistencies in the work. But if you select a complementary grout, one that matches the tile, then it's going to hide some of that. And there's going to be a little bit of imperfection in everything. There's a little bit of humanity on the wall. There's a little bit of humanity with the guy that made the tile. There's a little bit, not much with Matt, a little bit. There's a little bit with Matt. So anyway, great question. Yeah, so we did a mock-up. Very, very valuable. Now, another thing too, when we're talking about planks, even though we didn't lay this in a staggered bond, it's a really popular way to do these planks. And most of the manufacturers will have on the box 33% or less staggered. And it actually says that in our handbook as well as in ANSI, that we should have that staggered. Because when these tiles are made, they're fired. And when they're fired, there's some warpage in them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with it. That's just part of the process of making a tile. You have to fire it, right? When you fire it, it can have some warpage. So what I mean by that is if we were staggering these tiles and we had a 50% stagger, and this tile has a little bit of warpage in it, we have the high point of one tile hitting the low point of the two adjacent tiles, and that can create a lipping situation, okay? So what it says is that by moving it to a 33% or less, we're getting away from that. We're moving that high point from the low point of the two adjacent tiles and getting rid of some of that lippage. And there's standards for lippage too and what's allowable. Basically, there's a chart in the handbook, and for most installations we're doing nowadays, and the chart's based on the tile size and the grout joint width. But most installations that you guys are doing nowadays, what's allowable for lippage is a 32nd of an inch. That's about the thickness of a credit card. Now you can also add into that the warpage that is found in the tile. That's a little side note underneath the chart. So that's a question we get all the time about lippage and what's allowable for lippage. So 32nd of an inch. What kind of questions you guys got? Right here. That's a great question. Beautiful question. All right, so the question was, you keep talking about TCNA, you keep talking about ANSI. What are you talking about? Where do I find this stuff? Well, you can go to our website. Again, we're the National Tile Contractors Association, and you can get all these publications. You can also get them from TCNA as well. So either place, but you guys need to have these. By following the directions that you have in both the handbook and in ANSI, it's going to decrease a lot of your liability and help you be successful. It's following proven methods. Get in there, and if you see how these guys agonize over every detail, then we'll make sure to get it right. If it gets in that book, you can trust it. It's going to work. So, question? That's great. the NTCA reference manual. So the NTCA reference manual is given to every new member of the NTCA along with a handbook, and it's a tremendous resource. It's set up in a problem, cause, cure format. So if you got a problem, let's say you got some cracked grout, for instance, it could say cracked grout and give you a list of possible reasons what caused that cracked grout. They could also, it'll go on to say what you need to do to remedy that. There's also some great letters in there. What we found is tile guys on the East Coast oftentimes have the same problems as tile guys on the West Coast. They got people drilling under waterproofing, or they got surfaces that aren't flat. And so there's letters already pre-written in there that our members have used that you can cut and paste and use in your own business. So it's very, very, very helpful. So great question. Terrific. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for watching another great episode of TISE TV. Tune in each week as we introduce more great products, manufacturers and solutions. Follow us on social media to set reminders for upcoming episodes. Remember to hit the share button and invite your friends, colleagues and clients. See you next week for even more episodes of TISE TV.
Look, Mom. I made that.